Need to, but I'm gonna jump back into the tour because, you know, it's my job. We do have a Navy Pier slightly behind you. Today a tourist attraction, but first used as a municipal pier in 1916 when it was completed. They called it Municipal Pier from 1916 upon its completion until 1927 when it was officially renamed Navy Pier to, of course, honor the Navy, particularly those that fought during World War I. In front of that, the fidget spinner-esque looking building here is Shipwright and Heinrich's Lake Point Tower, completed in 1968. Curved facade makes for good wind shearing and incredible views. Due to its shape and position, no matter where your condo is in that tower, you will always have a view of Lake Michigan. The building was once rumored to be where Oprah Winfrey lived, but fun fact, she didn't. She actually had a full floor penthouse, that poor thing, at Water Tower Place near the former John Hancock. She never lived in that tower. However, Lake Point Tower is famously the only tower Chicago has permitted to be built east of Lakeshore Drive. We officially passed an ordinance in 1973 forbidding private property east of Lakeshore Drive. But Lake Point Tower, completed in 1968, precedes that ordinance by about 5 years. It's also built on what used to be a rail yard, technically already privately owned property. And the tower went up, did not actually remove public property when the public was essentially the rail yard companies switching hands with their property. Up next on your right, there is an active construction site where they're putting up 2 brand new skyscrapers that will share the same address. 400 North Lakeshore Drive will see 2 skyscrapers go up on this single plot of land. The tallest of the 2 will be over 850 feet. Behind the moving crane there, you'll see a tall beige building that is 1 Bennett Park, 2018, Robert A. M. Stern, inspired by the Art Deco stylings of the 20s and 30s. It is fully residential, and the top 3 floors of that building are 3 full-floor penthouses. And the most affordable of those penthouses began on the market in 2018 for $14 million. You want to know what that would get you? Got you concrete and a view. You spend $14 million for the raw, unlivable space. You then spend, in that case, an additional $3 to $5 million more dollars to build it out. You're customizing it, turning a penthouse into a pet home. Thank you, I love that joke. I love me, I'm so funny. Up next on your right, along the Chicago River, James Estefano and Associates, early 2000s Riverview 1 and Riverview 2. Beautiful townhomes, floors for the amenities, luxury condos, and of course penthouses. Where that balcony up there on top sticks out as one of their penthouses that sold about 2 years ago for $6.8 million. Move-in ready, fully built out. That $6.8 million got the people that bought it 9,300 square feet on 2 floors with only 3 bedrooms, each with their own private ensuite bathroom and their own private balconies. What's the rest of that space going towards? The stuff you actually need. Like 3 500-gallon saltwater fish tanks, a regulation-sized squash ball court, a full basketball court, 16-person hot tub, steam room, and a 1,000 square foot terrace as well. So unfortunately, it's the bare minimum. Up next on your right-hand side, the Sheraton Hotel, Solomon Cordwell and Benz, 1990. 1,200 rooms and accommodations makes it by room count the 4th largest hotel in our city. The most expensive accommodations at the Sheraton come with their very own butler service, helping to make for a real vacation. The 4th floor for the Sheraton Grand Hotel is their grand ballroom. It's what they're famous for. When all dividing walls are opened up in their grand ballroom, it's about the size of a football field, and at max capacity will accommodate up to 5,000 people at one time. We are now passed beneath the Columbus Drive Bridge. This is where we dye the Chicago River green on St. Patrick's Day. 40 pounds of a bright orange powdered vegetable dye goes into our river, designed organically to not hurt or harm our ecosystem, although no extensive tests have ever been done. Upon mixing with water, the orange powder turns a neon green color, like a Shrek green color, and then mixes with the main branch of the river here and will last about 3 or 4 days. We have NBC Tower off on your right. That is inspired by Art Deco, completed in the late 1980s. Across the way from that, though, you'll see a short building here. This is a downtown campus for the University of Chicago. They call this the Gleacher Center, 1990 by Dirk Lohan, who put into this building 27 classrooms. They are all here in the back, and as we pass, you will notice there are no windows on those classrooms. And he caught heat for that. They said, "Hey, Dirk, what's your damage? Don't you want to take in the beautiful views of the city?" And his response was, "No, I don't. It's a classroom," he said. "Students have no business looking out the windows. They should be paying attention to their teachers." Up next on your right, though, take a look behind the Apple Store. We have the iconic Tribune Tower. Tribune Tower back there is a result of a competition. They wanted the most beautiful office tower in the world. Had over 250 entries from around the globe. The winner was Hood and Howell, a New York firm, and its neo-Gothic design. The top of Tribune Tower is heavily modeled after Butter Tower, part of the Cathedral of Rouen in Normandy, France. The building today can no longer be considered the most beautiful office tower in the world, as a few years ago it was emptied out and underwent extensive renovation to be turned into luxury condominiums. Home sweet home off on your right-hand side for Wendella Boats, the Wrigley Building, 1919 and 1924. Clock Tower is modeled after La Giralda Tower in Sevilla, Spain. The building has 6 shades of white glazed terracotta providing fireproofing to it. This was the very first major structure built north of our river, first one to be illuminated at night, and the first in our city to also, God freaking bless, have air conditioning. Which, let's be honest, you do not need today. But y'all should come back to Chicago in July. Last year, the last 4 days of July were about 102 degrees Fahrenheit with 90